A camera from the CIA may reveal alien bodies, and people have been witnessing the sky glitching, along with fat generals being a bad look. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to the latest strange and more questionable clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
Regarding the Watchers and the Nephilim and like how Nephilim were made in ancient Mesopotamia and ancient Canaan, they had this where they believed the Watchers or the angels would come and they would perform these ceremonies on these certain type of beds, and that's how these Nephilim were produced. The Emperor of Japan still does it. It's crazy. In Japan, there is this thing. It's this ritual, the Daijozai. So anytime an emperor comes into power, what they do is they erect these two huts, and in these huts there's a bed and there's rice, sake, and this tradition has gone on since 600 BC. This actually happened in 2019. This new emperor came into power, but they trace their lineage back to the first emperor of Japan. It's the longest reigning monarch in history.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
But they believe that they are a direct descendant of their sun goddess, Amaterasu. And they believe that she came to Japan and that she conceived a son, and the son gave birth to another son and then another son. And that son, that third son, became the first emperor of Japan. And so this ceremony, Daijosai, is a ceremony that no one knows what happens in there. Only the emperor and the priest that perform it. He goes into this tent and he's supposed to interact with the sun goddess to receive the blessing and the power to rule over Japan. The rumor is there's some weird creepy stuff that happens because there's a bed in there, and that it mimics almost exactly what they used to do in ancient Mesopotamia and Canaan.
And they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it's just that one person and the priest, supposedly. Luckily, there isn't a woman or a child involved. Because yeah, weird things probably are happening if that's the case.
So what happens if you refuse the digital ID? Well, you probably don't want to know. There is something you probably do not expect though, so stick with me. Of course, this whole thing was on Friday, huge divide on the internet, I'll tell you that for free. And there is all these articles now coming out saying, well, what will actually happen if you refuse the ID? Well, the official statements basically mean it is compulsory for anybody wishing to work. So if you don't want to work, you don't have to have it, mate. But of course, everybody needs to work, so, I mean, pretty smart. However, there has been concerns before and slight conversations that have hinted at what would happen if you refused. Other people in different parties and different governments basically saying, well, this is what they would consider. Obviously, your digital ID is you, so it links to everything. And obviously, there's concerns about hackers and things like that. That's a whole different story, mate. But what a lot of people have been saying is they could just cut your housing off. They could cut your bills, your car, holidays, anything you want could be cut off if you refuse. Very much like what happens in our friends over here, and actually in North Korea, which we know is pretty severe. Now, on the flip side, there's a lot of people saying, well, if you didn't actually sign up for it in the first place, how are they going to cut you off for things because you didn't sign up anyway? I think it goes a bit deeper than that, but obviously I'm sure a lot more is going to come out on this in the coming months. And soon, we probably will be living in nosedive days. Like, Black Mirror is actually real. You're going to have a rating above your head, and I'm going to be like, no, you're a 3, mate.
I definitely do not agree that you cannot get a job if you don't have this digital ID. That's going to cause one of two things. Force people to get this ID so that they can successfully work, or force people to try to work under the table. Sadly, I do think that this will win over everything else, but I definitely don't agree with it. But what I really would like to know, what if everyone just simply refused it, quit their jobs, and trust me, I know that's way harder to do than said, but what if that happened? What if everyone just refused and said, I'm not gonna work, do whatever you must? What would happen? Would the governments just say, well, we gotta do whatever they want at this point? Or are they going to imprison all these people, which is not really possible if everyone just decided to all work together? I'd be really curious as how would that be handled. Highly doubt that that would happen, but man, that would be a movement.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like, we should, as humanity, we should take a brief... That's awesome.
Wait, what? So you're telling me we never went to the moon before? Let's hear that again.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like, we should, as humanity, we should take a brief moment to go, that's awesome.
Yes, I know what you're thinking. He really did said that. So what is this all about? So NASA is planning to send these astronauts back to the moon, right? So I believe it's in a couple of years. So they had a meeting and people were asking questions, and this is what happened. He technically said for the first time, we are going to go to the moon. Did he messed up here somehow? Because, I mean, obviously, everybody can hear what he just said, right? Many don't believe that we went to the moon, and many do believe we actually went to the moon. So, I am an open-minded, right? I have my beliefs, right? And but we're not gonna talk about that right now. This is crazy. If this astronaut really meant what he just said, this is just mind-blowing, right? So it could be an error, right? Maybe he was a little bit nervous. I don't know. But this is the man in charge. This is the boss, right? He's the one that is going to lead these astronauts to the moon. Right? They're going to go back to the moon. Did he really meant what he just said, that we are going to send astronauts for the first time to the moon? So, what are your thoughts about this? This is something that is like, okay, it makes you wonder, right? So, was he nervous? I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section.
I tried to look into this a little further because I wanted to see maybe if there was a interview that may have happened after the fact where he corrected himself or explained what he meant by that. I assume maybe he meant to say it'll be the first time in a long time we send humans back to the moon. I really don't know. That is strange. I would love a little bit more clarity on this one because I'm sure there has to be something to it. Obviously, they've told us that there's been people to the moon. Why now is this guy saying that this is the first time we're sending humans to the moon? Unless the first people that we sent to the moon weren't human. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, as well as what you guys think he meant to say, or if you think that he just slipped up. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And for everyone that's watching and or subscribed, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Is it possible that scientists got a signal from a parallel universe? They used a wormhole, a scopic wormhole, to send that signal. Well, it seems that way, because they're saying they found something and they think it could be a signal from a parallel universe. So the signal they received happened back in 2019, 6 years ago. And the scientists have been analyzing it ever since because they weren't really sure what it was, except they know it wasn't natural. So it wasn't like sounds from a star or background noise or radiation or whatever. And this noise or this signal didn't last that long, only about 10 milliseconds. But as they investigate it, they believe there's a distinct possibility that this is some type of message from a parallel universe using a microscopic wormhole. Because in theory, using wormholes would be a way to send a message to another universe or another dimension. And that's what they believe happened here. Now, the message being so short, don't really know what it means. It could be anything from a test to something we can't even comprehend. But my question is this. What do you think, Booshkis? Do you think other universes, other dimensions are trying to contact us? Or is this all just wackadoo? Let me know in the comment section. Shabadoo, Booshkis. Shabadoo.
To me, it just sounds like all hocus pocus. Or maybe when these scientists were trying to test these microscopic wormholes, that they were just getting some kind of noise interference. There could be something to it, and if there is microscopic wormholes, who knows what could be slipping through them? Even at a microscopic level, things that are unknown to us could be extremely dangerous. Could be a civilization out there of people that are on a microscopic scale that are extremely advanced. Next thing you know, we're communicating with them, and a whole bunch of them just go through the wormhole and they just start attacking you and rearranging your cells at a molecular level.
Whoa, what is that? Ah!
I'm definitely glad that the world doesn't work the way I envision things.
Foot photo, real or not.
That's me when I get out of the shower.
Josh says it looks AI.
I mean, it looks like those videos you see of like
because they're
bunnies
emulating
jumping on the trampoline and
Yeah.
stuff. You said it's not fake.
It's not.
How do you know?
You say that with certainty?
Positive, not fake.
Is it possibly a bear that just stood up and it like...
That's it. So when he
Okay.
first looked at it, it freaked him out, and then he posted the photo. And then you can see the timestamps are the same on his camera.
Oh,
Weird.
dude, that's scary.
But
Jeez.
imagine perspective, and so many times you only get one photo because like you can set I want it to go in 30-second or minute intervals. animals. If that was the only photo I had on my camera, I don't know that I'm going in those woods again.
I'm still spooked by the texture of that hair.
I know,
That
it
doesn't
looks
look
so
like
sickly.
bear hair.
That's strange,
All I can
man.
see is you standing like that.
I'm cold.
You okay? No, my tummy hurts.
That would be so scary.
Yeah, dude.
At first, yes, that is a horrifying image that is really hard to tell that that was a bear. I'm really glad that there's an after image that you could tell, hey, that was an actual bear just kind of standing up. Looks like some kind of weird creature, but it was actually a bear. And I bet that happens so often on these videos that we see that are supposed Bigfoot, big feet, whatever it's called for multiple Bigfoot. I bet a lot of the photos or videos that we see that are claimed to be Bigfoot are probably just bears standing up and moving around. Or that could just be what Bigfoot wants you to believe.
A man in eastern Kentucky set up a trail cam outside of an abandoned mine in the woods. Several years ago, this mine was actually abandoned because caverns had collapsed upon the workers inside, leaving them trapped down there, and their bodies were never recovered. The OP said that he's not really captured anything on the trail cams before other than game until November 23rd, 2023. If you look where this is circled, you can see a transparent figure walking through the woodline. What's really crazy is when you zoom in, you can actually see it walking in front and behind trees. I tried to adjust the...
I'm sorry, I just could not finish that video. It seems like every video, she's getting more and more of this vocal fry where she sounds kind of like this for no reason. And it's so drawn out. I get that there's like a certain trend on how to speak on TikTok, I guess, but that's just, it's getting too ridiculous. I'm gonna have to probably start skipping her content, which is a shame because I enjoyed it for a while, but just this vocal fry slow talk it's killing the vibes for me. On to the next video.
This is from Columbus, Ohio, just the other day. Now, could it be a balloon? Maybe, except it's level. It's flying level. Wouldn't a balloon be going up or down? I think it would. Could it be a drone? Maybe, except it's too slow to be a drone, in my opinion. Now, that was weird, and it was filmed during the day. And more than a handful of people saw that thing. And from that version of the video, you can't really tell what it is. So you know what I did? I zoomed in on that thing, and I'm going to show you that now. Here it is closer up. Could it be a balloon? Could it be a drone? I'm telling you, I really don't think it's a balloon. Now, I don't know much about drones, so I guess it could be, but whatever it is, it's weird, baby cakes. It is weird. But now, I got a question for you, and that question is, what do you think of that thing? Flying over Columbus, Ohio, just the other day, in the daytime. Let me know your opinion, Booshkies, in the comment section. Shabadoo.
To me, it looks like a star-shaped balloon. Let me know your guess in the comments.
Okay, so check this out. What I'm about to play for you is both controversial and interesting. Uri Geller says that this camera was given to him by the CIA, and he claims he used it to secretly photograph alien bodies. He just posted this video showing the camera and the negatives, and he says that those negatives will be released, and it will prove that he's telling the truth. Watch this, and then we're going to talk.
Hi, my dear friends. This is the camera, the Minox camera with which I photographed the alien bodies. I actually got this from the CIA to spy for them. This is the day I met Dr. Werner von Braun. Here he's showing me a piece of a UFO. I actually got this gift from him, a Zeiss camera. And this is when he takes me out to the car park and we drive to a concrete building. And if you haven't seen the animated film, it's on my website, it's also on my X. This is from the animation. This is exactly what I saw. We went down there, I saw bodies, some were injured. Let me show you where I keep the negatives of the Minox. Gosh, we're going back 50 years. I believe this was actually Sigmund Freud's safe. To make sure nobody gets an eye and looks at them, I blanked out the crucial ones. There it is. Minox. I will not reveal them yet. You know why? Because I want this man to be the first to announce the revelation. No doubt he will take a group of journalists from all over the world into that space, into that refrigerated room. Maybe they've moved them elsewhere. They exist, and to those skeptics, you will eat your hearts out when we reveal the photographs.
Okay, so here's why some think that this could be actually legit. The CIA really did back Geller's psychic work, and von Braun was rumored to warn about staged alien threats. Uri could have been in the right place at the right time. But Uri has also had a long history of controversy. Psychic claims, exaggeration. So who knows if those negatives actually contain what he says they are. But it is very interesting nonetheless, because it's a big claim, which then, you'd want to back it up with big evidence. And if in fact he is going to release these negatives at some point, they're going to contain something. And you would hope that it would contain what he's claiming. So let me know. What do you think? Could we be looking at negatives that actually contain real images of alien bodies? It's quite interesting no matter what. Let me know what you think.
I cannot wait to see the photos that gets released. I have a hard time believing a lot of what this guy... Dang, there I just gone had a stroke again. I have a hard time believing what a lot of this guy has to say. I mean, who knows? Maybe there is some photos out there that he has of alien bodies. I find it really funny that he has a CGI scene of what these cryo chambers look like, and then claims that he possibly has Sigmund Freud's cabinet, and he's talking about all this top secret CIA stuff through X and his website. What if he is still working for the CIA and this is now his job? Basically spreading all of this entertainment, if you will, to distract or to cause a false belief and maybe making people believe that there's aliens. What if that's what the CIA is still doing with this guy? And he's just playing a big part in it, because if this guy has private information that the CIA really doesn't want out, the CIA is not going to allow it out. They would do something about this. I at least would think. I mean, maybe that's just not how it works, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this, but to me, it just seems a little fishy. I cannot wait to see those pictures though.
A breakthrough in gene therapy has managed to slow Huntington's disease by 75%. This is an insane breakthrough and a huge improvement for a disease that was otherwise untreatable. In case you're unfamiliar, Huntington's disease causes nerve cells in the brain to decay over time, affecting a person's movements, thinking ability, and mental health. It's rare, it's passed down, and typically by the time you get diagnosed with Huntington's disease, you've got a decade or less to live. It literally causes the cells and neurons in the center of your brain to decay. You can see the normal versus the Huntington's on the right. This disease was a death sentence, but scientists in the United Kingdom have successfully trialed what could be the world's first gene therapy for Huntington's disease, and they use it. It's called AMT-130. It changes everything. The highest dose, which they gave to animals, apparently slows the disease progression by as much as 75% over 3 years. And since it tends to develop in your late 30s, early 40s, what this means is that even though, no, it's not cured, Huntington's disease is still bad, you can still die from it, people can expect to live relatively normal lifespans. Instead of guaranteed death by 50, you can live to be 65, 70, 75, maybe even a little bit longer if technology is able to improve. This is something that my wife, who is a nurse, told me people would come to the hospital for, and there would just be no treatment. They would find out right there in the emergency room they had Huntington's, and the doctors would be like, let's talk about hospice. The crazy thing about this is how it's delivered. You can see the molecule on the left and how it stimulates the genes and whatever. It's injected intracranially, as in a needle directly into the center of the brain where the damage would be done, is how you fix this, because the cells take up this new DNA permanently. Another extremely impressive thing about this is that the researchers expect the single dose to last a lifetime. So one and done for the intracranial injections, which is about what you really don't want to do more than one of those, you know. Anyway, I think it's fantastic science and it's going to save a lot of lives.
I think that that's really awesome because even if it only helps prolong it 10, 20 years, if things get more advanced, then you could ultimately get a cure out of it. And anything that slows the progress of it down is also a huge benefit. So I see this as a win. Hopefully one of these days soon, it'll be the cure for cancer.
So if y'all been seeing all this stuff in the sky the last few days, come right back to this. So the sky's been glitching like crazy, especially turning green in San Diego. Wrong video. Where was I? Turning green in San Diego, not because the aurora. The only aurora happening right now is all the way in Russia. No camera tricks and no other stuff. Nobody knows what's going on. But it's not just lights. We have dual moons in the sky. And also dual suns again in the sky. I wonder what's going on. Speaking of suns, we have China sending yet another sun into the sky. How many are they going to put in our sky? And where exactly are these suns going? Okay, hear me out. What if they're not meant to be suns at all? This right here is a legit live feed from the Arctic. And the shot came out and they were saying that they were just shooting missiles out there. And that's what's causing all these glows and colors. Believable. If there's anyone I believe, it's Nisha. Which definitely does not mean to deceive. And everything I'm showing you is within the last few days. She's about to point just because how pretty the clouds are right here. It's bizarre. How does light itself just stop straight up in the middle of the sky? It's almost like there's something invisible in the sky.
I mean, other than the storms that we've been having, skies seem normal. I've only seen one moon, one sun. Anytime that I put the camera up to it, still only one moon and one sun. I'm not entirely certain how people are seeing these two moons, two suns. I feel like it has something to do with the lens flare effect, but it doesn't work on my phone. Otherwise, my skies look normal. Let me know in the comments, have any of your skies been glitching, or have you seen any double suns, double moons, or these supposed green lights in the sky? Let me know.
Have you heard of Tilly Norwood? Tilly Norwood is a new action star who is polarizing because she's not human. Tilly is an AI-generated actress, and studios and agents are reportedly circling to sign her. But some human actors are not so happy about Tilly's apparent rise to fame. Melissa Barrera from the Scream series and In the Heights said on Instagram, quote, "Hope all the actors rep by the agent that does this drop their ass. How gross. Read the room." Close quote. Legendary child actress Mara Wilson added, "What about the hundreds of living young women whose faces were composited together to make her?" The funniest reaction I saw actually came from Euphoria star Lucas Gage, who wrote that Tilly Norwood was, quote, "a nightmare to work with," and, quote, "couldn't hit her mark and was late." All right, even SAG-AFTRA issued a statement condemning the idea, saying it creates the problem of using stolen performances to put actors out of work. And others are chiming in. Whoopi Goldberg, for example, warned that AI can't replicate how we move differently. Our faces move differently. Our bodies move differently. Meanwhile, her creator says she is not meant to replace a human being, but she is a creative work, a, quote, piece of art. So, what do you think? Should AI performers be judged on their own merit, or is this a line we should not cross in entertainment?
Well, to Whoopi Goldberg's response, I do think eventually it will get that good. It will get to the point where you cannot tell the difference between it being an AI-generated scene or an actual scene with real people and objects in it. I mean, right now, it's fairly noticeable when you see an AI-generated whatever.
See how obvious this is? See?
But it's getting better and better by the month, by the week really. So give her 5 years, it's gonna be pretty good at being unrecognizable from reality. Now, with that being said, do I agree with this? No, I do not. I think that there is a place for AI generated content in the movie industry, if you will. And this could be a harsh take, but I could see AI taking the place of special effects teams. Why do you need a whole team of people that cost $250,000 for their session when you can pay $200 for AI generated content that does all the special effects, all the explosions, doesn't replace actors, but it does replace a team of people that do special effects. But you also have to look at it this way. What about the movie companies that do not use practical effects anymore and they just use complete CGI? They took the jobs from the people that were actually the demolitionists, the stuntmen, and converted it to a team of people that could do that digitally. AI is going to replace those people with people that can run the AI to do what they need. It'll be fewer people than the team of people that it was. And then eventually, it'll probably be AI running AI. But that's going to happen with a lot of things, I think. And also, if say AI took over actors and actresses' jobs, it may make those actors become more independent, meaning that they'll just make their own film with their own money that's not operated by AI. Or these movie studios may pay yearly, monthly, or whatever the contract is, they may pay these actors for their likeness. And then the actors will be like, okay, I'm fine. Prompt me away. There's so many ways that this could go around. I'm really curious to know where it lands. I do not think that AI is going away. It may not take over the world, but I definitely do think that it's here to assist now. Just how far are they going to let us push AI? I can really rant and ramble about this topic for a while, so I'll just end it at that, but very curious to see where this goes. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, feelings about this whole AI scene, how you think it's going to affect the future of things, or more specifically, how do you think it's going to affect the film industry?
Ooh, Pete Hegseth said there's too many fat generals. Check this out.
To just tell it like it is in plain English. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, every member of our joint force, frankly, it's tiring to look out and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year.
As a veteran, do you think that this is fair for generals that might have health conditions? Do you feel that this is fair for other individuals who might be too old? You know, they might have a good military mind, but they might not be physically fit enough to really do PT. What do you think? I'm not a veteran. I'd like to hear what you have to say. As veterans or as, you know, a family of veterans, what would you say? Is it necessary, or are you capable of continuing your military career utilizing your mind as opposed to your physical fitness?
By the number of comments of people claiming to be veterans and agreeing with this, wow, this could be a really touchy topic. I actually fall in the line of agreeing with this as well. In my mind, if you are a general and you have people under you, I would want those people to lead by my example. If you're out of shape and you're not able to do PT, why should anybody else be required to as well? There's a lot of people, well, I say there's a lot, there's 7 comments on this video, but almost every single one of these comments say that they agree with this as they are veterans and that their bodies are just worn out, or they're veterans and they're not even on duty anymore. And I kind of think that this should apply with basic law enforcement like the police. I watch a lot of police cam footage on my spare time, and there's a lot of times where there's overweight cops trying to chase someone down and they cannot do it because they just do not have the stamina. There should be a physical test that police officers have to complete at least once a year. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I guess that could be a really touchy subject, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that this is an agreeable thing, or do you think it's too much? Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. I want to thank everyone for wishing me the best of luck. Luckily, these storms didn't really happen for the coast, so I hope everything goes well for you guys. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. And if not, have a good day anyways.